Alright, hopping right back in. We got week 2, starting off game to watch. I got Broncos at Steelers. There aren't too many good games this week, but I think Broncos-Steelers is definitely a game to watch. I think these are two teams that will definitely improve on last year. Broncos kind of build off their late success. Steelers getting Big Ben back. I think their offense will be back to its usual self with James Conner, Juju, those type of guys. So, anyways, let's get into it. So starting off, Patriots-Seahawks. It's going to be a tough game for the Patriots to win. Even with Brady, they've kind of struggled against the Seahawks in the regular season. I know they have lost before to the Seahawks in the regular season. I think the same is going to be true this week. I think the Seahawks will pull it off against the Patriots. All right, coming up next, Bills-Dolphins divisional matchup. Once again, I really like the Bills this year. I think their offense is going to be really good. Same with their defense. They have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Levi Wallace. I think that's going to carry them to a victory over the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we got the 49ers and the Jets. 49ers, I think they'll play well despite being in New York. I think they'll come away with the victory. And here we go, AFC West matchup, Chiefs-Chargers. Chargers, I still don't trust their quarterback situation, whether it's going to be Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert. I think either way, the Chiefs are going to come away victorious here. They've kind of had the Chargers' number over the last couple of years, and I think that trend's going to continue. All right, so now starting off here, we got game to watch, as I said, Broncos-Steelers. And I think this is going to be a really entertaining game. I have the Steelers winning. I think it being in Pittsburgh will help. Just even if there aren't any fans, I think that home field advantage is still going to be somewhat of a factor. And I think the Broncos, they're young, especially on the offensive side of the ball, really starting with their quarterback. So I think that they'll take a couple weeks to kind of flourish. All right, so next up, Saints-Raiders. So these are two teams who I think could improve this year, specifically the Raiders. But I have the Saints taking this one. I think their offense is just going to be too much for that Raiders defense. I see the Saints coming away with this one. All right, moving on, Ravens-Texans. As I mentioned before, Texans, I don't think they're going to be the same team without DeAndre Hopkins. Sure, they brought in Randall Cobb and they have Will Fuller, but those two are no DeAndre Hopkins, that's for sure. I think Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. I think he's very underrated too, but I just don't know I don't think they'll be the same team. Ravens, I think if their rookies can fit in well, Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, I think they might be one of the best teams in the NFL. And I think they'll have a good win over the Texans. All right, coming up next, Bengals-Browns. So AFC North matchup. Bengals, I had winning week 1, mainly just based on their offensive skills. Joe Burrow, I think, is going to be pretty good. Joe Mixon, A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd. And then the Browns. The Browns they're skilled. I think they come away with the victory. Obviously, Baker, Odell Beckham. They brought in Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. So I think they're going to come away victorious. They, shored up some problems on the offensive line over the offseason. So I think they're going to beat the Bengals in week 2. Next up, Titans-Jags. Once again, I think the Jags are going to be kind of the dumpster fire of the NFL this year. I love Gardner Minshew, but I just think with defenses will be able to prepare and contain Minshew mania throughout the year. And then the Titans, I think they'll rely on the running game, pass when they need to. I think that's a good role for Ryan Tannehill, and they have the running back to do it, and Derrick Henry. All right, coming up next, Vikings-Colts. I actually have the Colts taking this one. So the Colts, I think, are a very underrated team heading into this year. They have one of the best offensive lines in football, as well as one of the best running back cores in football. Not very many people have a top 4 at running back as good as the Colts, right? You got Jonathan Taylor, you got Jordan Wilkins, Nyheim Hines, as well as Marlon Mack. So I think they're gonna have a good game. Xavier Rhodes get a little revenge on his former team. And I think Philip Rivers will fit in quite nice with that team because he won't have to, evade pressure that much due to the good offensive line of the Colts. So I think the Colts will come away victorious here. Alright, so next up, Rams and Eagles. I think the Eagles come away victorious here. I think the Rams will struggle to get going. They don't have Todd Gurley this year, so I think they'll specifically struggle in the running game. And I think the Eagles, as long as they're healthy, I think they're going to be a very good team this year. Alright, next up, Falcons-Cowboys. I like the Cowboys here. Cowboys have a lot of playmakers on offense. Dak, Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper. And I think they'll score points this year. I really think Dak wants to go out there and prove himself that he's a very solid player worthy of a big contract. And then on the other side of the ball, the Falcons, I think their offense is very good. I think their defense will struggle throughout the year and hold them back. All right, next up, Giants and Bears. So, in this game, I have the Bears. I do like the Giants. Daniel Jones is pretty good. Saquon's pretty good. Darius Slayton's not bad. But I think the Bears are... I think they're in for a good start to the season this year. They have somewhat of an easy schedule. I think Mitchell Trubisky will improve and be better. And, yeah, I see them beating the Giants here in week 2. All right, next we got Washington football team versus the Arizona Cardinals. I have the Cardinals taking this one. I think starting off with Washington's quarterback situation, I don't know what they're going to do, whether it'll be Dwayne Haskins or Alex Smith, maybe even Kyle Allen. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I think no matter who they go with, I'm a big Alex Smith fan, but I think no matter who they go with, I think their offense is going to, struggle a lot. I don't know who's going to be the running back. I don't know. They have Terry McLaurin, but other than that, I don't really know who they're gonna get their points from. And so I think the Cardinals will come away with a victory here. Next up, Lions-Packers. So I have the Packers taking this one. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Devontae Adams. They did lose Blake Martinez in free agency, who had a lot of tackles last year, but I think they'll be okay. And beat the Lions in this divisional matchup. All right, next up, Tampa Bay and Carolina. I think Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, I think he gets his first win in Tampa Bay in week 2 against the Carolina Panthers. Divisional matchup, but I still think that I think the Bucs will come away with the victory. I think they'll score a lot of points on the Carolina defense, which doesn't have Luke Kuechly this year. And we'll have to rely on guys like Shaq Thompson. They also lost James Bradbury to the Giants in free agency. They did draft Derek Brown, the nose tackle out of Auburn, but I think overall the Bucs offense is just going to be too much for the Panthers defense.